some would say I'm the Will Arnett of the group. You know what I mean?
Oh, no, I don't know what you mean. You dated Amy
Oh,
I
Poehler
don't know what you mean.
or married?
no, but we would have had great kids together, and I would have absolutely done like a what's that called? A conscious uncoupling with her. I think it would have been great. But no, he's just like he's the one who kind of keeps the ball, you know, boop boop, bouncing on smart list. You know, he's the one who's always like, he's just really sharp.
Are you implying that you keep the improv ball rolling and that we drop it? And that you are the only reason that the podcast has any joy? If that is the implication, that's what I'm hearing.
No,
So
oh my
tell me
God.
if that's what it is.
No, I'm saying I think I start the ball kind of always. I always want to just, you know, I've got so much energy
likes
that
to
I just want
volley.
to. Yeah, I'm just like I just start kind of like, oh, I just have so much because I don't get to do my craft all the time, so I get to come to this place and kind of, you know, cut my teeth with both of you.
Someone asked me if I still audition the other day, and I responded with, well, it's not that I don't audition, like I'm against it. I just haven't auditioned for anything in a long time. I don't even know how I would summon. I mean, I could definitely do it, but I'd have to like really spend some time to get ready for that. It's been a long time since I've been a lady of the musical theater, since the craft has been exercised, and
Yeah.
you do have to exercise it, and if you want to stay strong.
Yeah, you got to get the reps in. But you know, I love a hypothetical. If you tomorrow had to do, you know, the easy, like, we know you guys, it's all just, we want 16 to 32 bars of whatever makes you feel good, what would you
Oh.
sing?
Yeah, if it was legit musical theater, I would probably sing "When the Children Are Asleep."
How does that go?
Enoch Snow. When the children are asleep, da dee da dee, and it's Enoch telling Carrie Pipperidge how wonderful their life will be because he has plans for them. So it's like I love the song because it's the contrast to Julie Jordan, who is like, you know, in love with this derelict carnival barker who beats her up and is a good for nothing, and her best friend is this debutante who's been essentially is almost married to Enoch Snow, the man of her dream. And he's already got plans for what their life is going to be. Julie Jordan can't get any plans out of Billy. And Enoch lays out his plan to build a sardine factory and that they're going to become really rich. And so I love that song. And so it's him courting her.
I love
and
that.
so when the children are asleep, it's like when the children are asleep upstairs, we're going to have the loveliest night.
Aw.
Downstairs, we're going to have some soft wife life.
I love
Life.
You know, Carousel
That's
was
what
one
I
of
would
those-
sing.
That's a great, I love that. And I know you would be able to summon it because you want to be with someone and be rich and like have the kids sleep and then have them I just feel like that would be so easy for you
Yeah.
to act. You know what I mean? Johnny
Joanna.
from Sweeney.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a
Pretty
great
little
song.
Joanna. Oh my God, it's so beautiful. If you want to do something that's a treat for yourself, go onto YouTube, okay? Put your AirPods in, first of all.
Yeah.
Go into YouTube and look up Sweeney Todd piano accompaniment. You're going to find a couple of them, right? But find one that sounds like this person is playing with their right and their left hands, okay? And put it really loud and appreciate how magnificent the song is. The chord progression. You know, in like the Singers Anthology, the classic Singers Anthology, that is like... that comes with a CD. They used to come with a instrumental CD later on for you to practice with the exact tempos as they should be, you know, like the exact song as it is arranged in the book. And I used to listen to that version of Joanna because it's so soaring and wonderful. It's hypnotizing. It really is.
It's hypnotic. What about you, Ian?
Ooh.
It's closer to the tip of your tongue than ours, I think.
Do you know, I would probably, a great one that's just I've always done forever is like Old Red Hills of Home. But I think to switch it up, because it's just so like, okay, you know, one that would be fun, I think would be, Ilona from She Loves Me. Like for like legit, like something that's like, not pattery, but like, you know, it's forward moving. I wouldn't call it like up tempo per
Exciting.
se, but it's exciting and it's you make me feel this way, and like and there's like suave and sarcasm. I don't know. I just I love that. It's very active.
Very active. I like that.
Yeah. You know the thing with musical theater, and I don't know why this is, but on the show that I produce here in the city, it's called Theater: All the Moving Parts, and it's hosted by Patrick Pacheco, who's a legendary theater journalist, and it's classic, public media. It's exactly what you expect it to be. It's slow and meditative and thoughtful. It's a gem of a show, really. And we do a lot of episodes about plays, off-Broadway. We do a little bit of everything, all theater, New York theater, but play, highbrow, lowbrow, all kinds. And it always amazes me how well the episodes about musicals perform. Mm-hmm. Because to me, like, there's an excitement about plays and musicals. I feel like people love both, but really, it reminds you that musicals are an American thing. They're like, I mean, not that they don't do them all over the world, in Brazil and Mexico, but they're so American, and there are a lot of Americans who love musicals. And there are people who, I mean, like, an episode about musicals will get like 10 times the views that and the ratings that one about plays does often, which is strange to me because I love plays.
Our episode,
exactly,
I mean our Wicked episode.
Yeah, correct. Our Wicked episode, which you should listen back to before the new one comes out. Johnny, you're under the weather?
A little bit. I feel just a little lethargic, but I had a very busy weekend, so it's to be expected, I think.
Yeah. Well, don't worry.
That post-Halloween.
I feel a lot of hope in the air. Today is election day, and hopefully when this airs, there will be much to celebrate, because I think we need some good old hope. Not to be 2008 about it, but we need something to strive for, and I think that's on the way.
Yeah, it's looking good. It's looking good. As a journalist, we are trained or told not to reveal our political inclinations, but I've always felt that that's actually kind of unfair to ask journalists who are women, queer, or of color, because whether I tell you who I voted for or not, the public is going to make an assumption because of who I am, right? There's a very high probability that who they think I'm voting for is who I'm voting for. Right. And anyway, I'm in this case, I think Mamdani who I'm supporting, represents such it's a chance for New York to shift and hopefully become the city that it was always meant to be, a city with open arms that you can live in sustainably, and that people can afford to have rest and peace of mind in addition to hustling. That there you should have both here, and the affordability crisis will hopefully be somewhat eased. So I think that's the hope that Johnny, you're referencing. People are hopeful. People are hoping that the city that they love, they can continue to call it home.
Yeah, I think I saw someone on someone's story. It was like, well, what do you expect all of these things that he's promising to get done? And someone was like, I don't necessarily expect any of them to get done, but what I do want is to vote for someone who's willing to say that they're going to try to do it, rather than a bunch of people that are always saying, well, that's just the way the cookie crumbles. You know how it goes around here. Yeah. Politics as usual. Like, say something different, promise something new, think of a different strategy, and I will get behind you. I mean,
innovate.
At this point, we're in the pits of hell with who represents this country. So literally a phone book could get on stage and be like, I'm ready to da-da-da. And I'd be like, you know what, phone book? Ring, ring, bitch. Like,
tell me the numbers. Tell me the numbers. Inform me. How do I contact you? There is something to that, because there are people who say, what, he's not going to be able to do this, this, and that. If all he did was go to work, go home, keep the lights on in the city, and there was more or less the status quo change, I'd be just fine. I would be just fine.
If he accomplished one
there's
of
a smile.
3 things that he's set out to do, I think that's an accomplishment in and of itself. I mean, there's so much corruption in any city, so much money laundering, so much hand holding all over the place. So yeah, I'm hopeful for that. I also, I messaged you guys about what I thought we should talk about today, but I had a conversation with my mom recently, and we were talking about this conversation I had with someone else online, and I was arguing back and forth about politics. And she reminded me of who I was before all of these, like all this political stuff. And, she's like, you used to lead with such love. And I was like, yeah, I still do. It's just there's a lot of anger that comes at the forefront. And I was thinking to myself after we had that conversation, I'm like, yeah, at what point, because I do make myself sick sometimes with how invested and how much it affects me, like how angry I get at injustice, And I've been seeing a lot online of people trying to do the opposite of what we've been doing lately, which lately, I mean, in the past 8 years, maybe, of getting online and arguing with people and trying to prove them wrong and showing that they're a bad person, and instead are looking for ways to help people, And that is something that I'm like, yeah, if we prioritized helping, no matter, because there's the whole, like, I'm not going to help a bitch that wants to kill me or that wants to take away my rights.
Yes. Yeah.
I think it's an oversimplification sometimes of who other people are. One of the things that I learned with reading about cults and some of the conversations we had with Amanda Montell is that, like, people can be very, very smart and be very, very bamboozled. There is one side of the coin that says, like, people will be racist, and racist people, like, you know what I mean? They'll do things out of racism. And then there's the people that are sold this bill of goods that doesn't exist. And it's like, how do we reach those people, at least, that, like, have found their way down the rabbit hole of, like, the not so great place? And yeah, I just thought about, like, being in our soft girl era, what that would look like.
Yeah.
Because you know me, I'm the first one to get online and be like, bitch,
You know what I love about soft girl and soft wife life and being a soft girly is that it's not a simple thing to define. So because I'm obsessed. I was kind of happy that you brought this up because I love soft wife TikTok.
I don't even know.
It's divine. It's divine. So soft wife TikTok, essentially soft life, right? And being a soft wife really comes from Black women in America. It's a concept that started among Black female culture. And there's like one extreme of soft wife life where it just is like you're with a rich man. You don't put up with any bullshit. He takes care of you. But you are the model. You get to step into your divine femininity and be soft, honey. You don't worry about things. He does those things for you. He takes out the trash. You support him. It's not that you're like not doing anything. You can have a career. You can do everything. But it's soft life. Like, you don't raise your voice. You don't get mad at your husband. You give him the benefit of the doubt every time. You approach your relationships with ease. You get rid of anyone in your life that provides any friction. It should be a frictionless existence as much as possible. Obviously, no one has a frictionless existence. So, but at one extreme, it does have a lot to do with status and like buying Birkins and being taken care of and doing your nails. So like that's one extreme of
Anaya
soft life.
Smith sort of fantasy.
Yeah, she could be. She's more of a trad. Yeah, I guess she's at the intersection of like trad wife and soft wife life. Okay, she's so like a little bit of both.
So what would you say makes trad from soft? Just the sort of
because trad. Okay, some trad wives are soft, but a lot of trad wives are hard. They're like, I'm a trad wife. I gotta get the fucking pigs in the morning. I gotta get them up. I gotta do it. I got the eggs in the thing. I gotta do it. Today, we're gonna make sourdough from scratch. And you know what? We're gonna do it on the surface of the sun because that's the best place to get it. It's hot, but that's where I'm going.
Got it.
So trad wife can be a little bit aggressive and hands-on in a way that a soft wife would not. But a soft wife could also be a trad wife who likes to bake and do this and like have like kind of the stereotypical things that are, that keeping a home would entail.
Got it.
But then, so there's soft wife, like the rich bitch soft wife, and then soft wife life, soft girl life, interchangeable. And then there's like soft girl. Soft girl is more about the like young professional woman, millennial, Gen Z. She may have a really big career. She may be a lawyer. She may be a nurse, whatever she is. But like she comes home, honey, and she lights the candles. Everything is beautiful. She treats herself. She does the whole body showers, the skin care. Like her nails are always done. She prioritizes herself. It's no stress. Drinks water, has her chlorophyll. She is aiming to have just like this energetically smooth existence.
Mm-hmm.
It's fascinating. It's really fascinating. If you just put in soft wife, you'll get. There's some accounts that are hilarious because they're like soft wife life coaches. They're like telling you how to be a soft wife.
Oh my God. Everything's a business.
Everything's a business. Exactly. But the soft girls, like those millennial Gen Z mamacitas and Latinas too. There's white girls, everybody. But it did start with black women.
I can't wait to dive deep into this, like after and
Well, yeah, but to what Johnny said is that it was alluding to is that there's also this kind of sense of like radical optimism that's involved. You have to just be like totally aware that goodness can come at every turn. That's a part of it. There's like this sense that like no matter what, it's going to be okay because this is who I am. Mm-hmm. There's an invitation of that, which when things have been hard for a long time, as they have been, especially for millennials, we harden. We become so jaded.
Yeah, it's the culture that has permeated in the last couple of years of like, if you are not angry, you're not paying attention. Or if you know what I mean? It's like, which is true. There's a lot of truth to there's righteous anger all around. But like I talk about in therapy, anger is just one emotion. It can be a helpful tool. But if you stay in the anger, there's only so many places you can go. And I read this quote recently about how the rich have basically, instead of having class wars, we've had culture wars. And that's why it's taken so long to hold these billionaires' feet to the fire, because we've been fighting each other. We've been fighting race, religion, sexuality, gender identity. When at the end of the day, bitch, we are all broke. And these motherfuckers are laughing their way to the bank because they see all of us down here fighting each other. And not holding them accountable and not saying, wait a second, we're saying that this guy hasn't paid his taxes, but wait a second, you haven't paid your taxes. Like one of my favorite examples is lately.
It was you.
It was you. It's like the end of a Scooby-Doo episode where you take the mask off and you're like, wait a second. But I lost my train of thought.
I love Scooby-Doo. But it did always gag me at the end. It's like the call is coming in. It's the original. The call is coming from inside the house.
Yeah, truly.
Yeah. No, with SNAP benefits. Sorry, that's what it was. SNAP benefits being taken away, and a lot of people, with full-time jobs, relying on SNAP benefits, which isn't a lot of help. But it is helpful for people to get, food for their kids, for them to just basically eat, and the administration taking that away or freezing it has really shown just how far people will go to defend rich people. Because you will see, well, what were you spending that SNAP money on? Steak and lobster? You were eating steak and lobster with your SNAP benefits? And it's like, wait, ho. Where is that energy for all of the rich people with 5, 6, 7 yachts? Why aren't you down their throats? Instead, you're making full shows about lifestyles of the rich and the famous. We have all of these, oh my God, I just wish these aspirational riches that we will never get to because they have made it so that it is impossible for middle-class people, except for maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, to like jump up. If you look at the minimum wage, how much it's gone up since 1960s versus how many more billionaires we have since the 1960s. It is insane, the number. But that being said, it's been so beautiful to watch people in the community. I reposted this TikTok on my Instagram of this guy crying because he got money given to him in his mailbox because he had put a food pantry out, knowing that SNAP benefits were going to be frozen. And he put a food pantry out for people to come and just take food. And so people donated money for him to go buy more food, to fill up his food pantry so more people could come get food. And I thought to myself, in times of strife, we really do show how acts of kindness really just seemingly come out of the woodwork. And not that they don't exist, but I feel like more people are trying to amplify those stories and voices versus us versus them mentality, you know?
Yeah, I love that. I know what you mean. I just went to the marathon kind of by accident on Sunday, and it was really, really beautiful. Like, so heartwarming. I was doing a walk with a friend, and we were like by the reservoir and like going around it, and then we were on the Met side. For those of you in like, you know, Poughkeepsie, that's like Fifth Avenue. And we were like, oh my God, it sounds like Coachella. Like, what's happening? And we were like, we just like forgot about it. And we were like, oh my God, the marathon. And then we like walked through it. And we went to this corner where like the DJ, you know, it's like one of those spots where I'm guessing it's, you know, if you hear the music is supposed to hype you up at that point in time in the race.
Yeah.
And we like watched, and just to see everybody cheering for people they didn't even know, and like high fives and all of that, like we got emotional, and we walked through, like we went down and then back up just to kind of like see how far. I don't know, it was really, really heartwarming, like humanity at its best, you know.
Mm-hmm. It really is a beautiful day, and it is New York at its best, you know what I mean? Also, it's like it has that we are one post 9/11, like we love New York, rah sis boomba kind of vibe for sure.
Totally.
But it is that, and it always is that. But this year it does have this added layer because it's there. The country is, because of the shutdown, which it's going to be it may very well be the longest shutdown ever. In a few days, it will break the record. It's getting weird, to quote the great Nene Leakes. Is that what she said? Yeah, that's what she said, right?
It's getting weird.
So things are getting weird. And to your point, Johnny, like I do see, because so many people receive, you know, supplemental benefits and SNAP, because so many people receive them, you're starting to see the real cracks in the like American fabric, right? Like in our, I should say the tears in the American fabric, and how vulnerable we are. You know, I was listening to Up First, which is the NPR's like daily morning podcast. This is last week. And they were interviewing a military family who like depends on SNAP benefits. And I just could not believe it. I couldn't believe it. They were saying, you know, it's just like, how can it be that a family, and I think, you know, they were not active at the time, but a military family, you know, one of the parents had a really traumatic injury fighting for the United States in some of our international offensive engagements, aka wars, and to think that is required, it's not good.
Yeah.
Jane, it's not good. Okay? Like, you shouldn't have to, you can't, and I think that's what people don't understand about SNAP benefits, is that these are people who are working, a lot of them, right? Some people are on disability or something else. There are these people who are working. When you make minimum wage, you can't afford shit.
Yeah. Especially when minimum wage doesn't go up, but prices keep rising. And that's the problem. Correct. Is that people, for so long it was like, well, the reason that it's because the welfare babies, like there's always been a scapegoat, you know, and so it's always been, look over there, but don't look over here, don't look at me. But I think when we see these so many rich people and just vastly wealthy and just throwing all of these parties and functions, and you see the disparity in more and more average day Americans. You know, these are people with full-time jobs that can't feed themselves.
And listen, I'm pro money. I'm pro money. Okay? Like that I don't think we should have as many billionaires as we do, but people, you know, there are a lot of rich people who do good things, you know, fine, whatever. I'll concede that point, right? Cuz you know, I can hear people in my DMs being like, you know, there are a lot of rich people who make meaningful contributions. That's
so
true.
what? Do they get a
I
fucking
grew up with
award?
a lot of very rich people, and there are many fine
That
ones.
drives
Okay?
me fucking crazy. Rich people don't get a fucking medal because for being good. You just don't get a medal and a pat on the back for giving back to the communities that have made you as rich as you are. Do you know what I mean? I'm so tired of the like, you know, and I hate the overuse of the word propaganda, but the rich people propaganda of like, you work hard in this country and you get far. That is fucking bullshit. Yes, for some people you do get a lucky, you know, a lucky strike, right? But for most people it's very difficult to get by. And here's the thing. I'm not complaining without a solution. What I'm saying is that we give, and this is why so many people are so angry at Republicans, at Democrats, because we have given so much wiggle room for these companies, for these corporations, because they've promised to give back to the communities that have helped their companies get as rich as they are.
Yeah.
And now that we have a monopoly where only basically 5 companies own everything in this country, we're basically an oligarchy. And so not to like, I understand there are a lot of good and well-meaning rich people, right?
Yeah.
Beyonce's a billionaire, for goodness sake. But
Yeah. I mean, people, in order for there to be haves, there had to be have-nots and vice versa. That's just the way that the way that it goes. But I think that the people are upset. And the reason why Americans are so upset, especially poor Americans, is that a lot of them have been, someone told them that that they look good in those shoes, but they were Old Maiden type shoes, and they do not look good on them actually at all. No, that people have been lied to several times. Poor Americans, especially when we've talked about this, but white Americans have in droves run toward the Republican Party, for many reasons. But a big reason is because they have been disenfranchised for a long time. I'm talking about the people of the great states of West Virginia, Kentucky, for example, states in which people, I think it is the state with most enrollment in Obamacare. I believe I have to check that, what it is these days. But anyway, it's very, very people who really depend on things that were created by a Democratic president are voting red. They're voting for Trump. And you see poor people who are voting against maybe their best interests. Cubans, for example, voting for Donald Trump and then getting their comeuppance. I will vote for Donald Trump and Donald Trump will kick you out. He has, you know, and that's a part of this mythology that like, I want to be like them. They've got money. I want to be like them. Right? And then so that's one part of it. And the other part is the Republican Party has said to them, we are going to give you what you deserve. And you have not had this for a long time. And Democrats have taken from you to give to others. But they're taking from you. They're taking from you to give to others. And really, when the cookie crumbles, and it do crumble, like it is right now, where's the food stamps? Where are they? Where? You know, I think that there are a lot of, you know, red states and voters who are waking up to empty SNAP benefits cards that are going to have something to say.
Yeah.
But who knows?
And it's getting like,
But who knows?
I think people are just not they're like waking up and they're like, the whole blame game isn't working for us anymore. Like that. And that's why I think politicians like Zoran work, because he's like, you know what? Yes, these candidates suck, but I want to focus on the issues at hand and focusing on the issues,
Yeah.
instead of mudslinging. And, when he's like, oh, Donald Trump said he was more attractive than you. That is what, and I'm glad he did not take the bait. He just said, I'm focused on the housing crisis right now. Like, and that is truly how it should be. I mean, also, Newsom's, strategy works with like, getting in the pig pen with him. But then you have reporters asking Newsom, don't you think it's kind of terrible to do that? And it's like, you would never ask the other man that, but it's great and also devastating to see how we are the ones that are here to save us, and that's why voting and all that stuff is so important, because at the end of the day, whoever promises what might not be able to deliver, and we're going to have to be the ones that suffer because of our picks, or the picks of the majority. But ultimately, that shouldn't determine whether we help people or not. Me giving food to people that are hungry, I'm not going to be like, who'd you vote for? As much as I might want to.
No, exactly.
As much as I might want to, but that is not the kind of country I want to live in,
No, because you have to remember that there are racist people and there are bad people, right? But there are also people who don't know better.
Yeah.
And not to sound like, I'm this educated coastal elite, which I am. There are people who don't know better. I think about Cubans a lot in this. And this is not so much about an economic thing. This is about immigration. But these Cubans who are now, a lot of them are voting for the first time in these last two elections, and they overwhelmingly support Trump. And they thought that they were going to be the exception. Everyone thinks they're going to be the exception, that the fire is not going to get to their house. And then when it does, I think it's very easy for, there's a little bit of schadenfreude, right? You're like, bye. I saw them crying for their, and I do get that. I do get that. You do get to celebrate that a little bit, because, everyone who gets their comeuppance gets their comeuppance. But then it's also sad. But then you get to make fun of them and say, and give the I told you so. I told you so's are fantastic and very healthy. You give the I told you so, but then you have to be there to help. I told you so, but here, let me help you.
Right. It's like your kid when they burn their hand on the stove. Like, yeah, well. One other thing I saw that was really nice, because it's all, it's like, okay, so what do? We just boycott. And, there were a lot of like TikToks about like boycotting the holiday season, which honestly, it's sometimes the boycott is not, it's just because we can't afford it. But I think there was another alternative that people were saying, instead of buying from like big box companies, go out and go to the farmer's market and get your fruit and veggies from your local farmer's market, and try and help small farmers and businesses stay afloat instead of Amazon, Fresh Direct, everything, and we live in a world of convenience also, but that is where we send the messages with our bank account, with our pocketbook, because that is the party that America is beholden to, is the party of the coin, so I thought that was a great aspect, because it's like, oh, that's also like, yeah, why don't we do that? And I think, because whenever I go to a farmer's market, I'm always like, oh, I love these like jellies and jams and onions picked at this farm in upstate New York, or, blah, blah, blah. And, so I thought that was a helpful tool of how you can help directly.
Have cash on you if you go do that. You have to have cash. Just like, although now everything is very Squarespace or Square or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's still,
tap
it's
to
nice. Pay. Cash is, but I don't know why, but I am kind of hopeful.
Yeah.
More so than I've been in a long time.
For what?
I don't know why that is.
A change in the tide.
I don't know why?
No, I mean like a hopeful for like to see, that
I'm
what
hopeful,
will happen.
Personally hopeful. Maybe because, I mean, obviously things in my personal life are going well. I'm in a loving relationship. But even though my career isn't exactly where I want it to be, there are a lot of things that a year or 2 years ago were very defeating. A lot of those things haven't changed. And yet still I feel more hope than I did with those confronting those same things 2 years ago.
What do you think changed that?
I don't know, because I'm not really people think I'm a very positive person, but I'm not a very positive person. I'm actually a nihilist, but that's, I
You
think,
live on Earth.
gets read as optimism. You know, I'm a nihilist. I'm gonna burn it all down, baby, but laugh while doing it. So I think that gets read. You know, if you want everything to burn, it creates, you know,
what are you gonna
kind
live
of goes
in ash?
around, right? Yeah, exactly. It creates like 180 degrees turn in how people see you. So I struggle with positive thinking and affirmations, etc. I've always just been, I have been a little too cynical. Even as a kid, I kind of always felt like I was smarter than that, which is not healthy. I've talked about it a lot in therapy, but I think what has changed is as I've gotten older, I've realized that what feels really big is often very small. And I sweat the small stuff on a daily basis very much. So like getting my gear together for the podcast, and I scream and I shout and I'm a mess. The small things I do still sweat, but the big things I'm more optimistic. I think because I'm just putting them in context and realizing that life is long and that you can fix most things, you know? So I guess it's kind of a little bit of radical acceptance that like it will work out, hopefully, and being negative about it is not going to help. You know?
It's funny that you say that, because when I'm doing stuff and like I start screaming, I'm like, fuck this motherfucker. I realize it's actually the bigger things that are making the little things so much bigger, if that makes sense. Like there are other stressors in my life, like work or, you know, work that make me stress out about like anything. And then when work is good and money is coming in, it's like, oh, I just dropped that. Oh, let me pick it up. Whereas when I'm broke and I drop it, I'm like, motherfucker, is anything gonna happen right? Fuck. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's the thing. Money is just fabulous. Money
is energy.
is fabulous.
And that
it helps.
Yeah, it does help. It really does help. But you know what is also just as important is community. Because I think I was having this thought the other day. I've never felt
country club.
Exactly.
I've never felt so close to like a group of people as I do now where I live. Like in like more than just like 3-4 people. Like I feel like there's like a community of people that I genuinely care for and like, and I'm excited to see. And I know that if I need something, they'll be there for me. And I'm like, oh, I might not have all the money in the world right now, but I feel so blessed with, you know, like 2 of my friends, I was like looking for places in New York, and they were like asking everybody for me. And I thought that was like, you know, because like they don't have to do that, but it's a little thing that goes a long way. And like they were fielding like people looking, and, you know, I'm not the only one that happens for. I mean, that happens a lot, especially in New York, because people are always looking to help pay the rent. But it just felt like,
and they want to get out.
They didn't have to do that, but I really appreciate it. And those little acts of kindness like make me believe in like the goodness in people. I think that helps in these times. And I think, sure, we do need what's ours in terms of like what these corporations have stolen from us. I mean, even if it's just lowering the fucking prices on these streaming networks, like the shows are getting worse, but they're getting more expensive to have these streaming networks on Apple TV, you know? Anyway.
Yeah, it's
I hear you. No, I hear you.
I will say, okay, I will say about community is that I have felt certain. I am trying to be more communal. The last community oriented, I should say. The last few years, I have closed off my life in many ways because of work, and I've been so busy, and because I've been traveling so much because I travel so much for work. It's been difficult to keep up with people, and I've been overwhelmed. And so I have made. I feel like I have made. I have not made enemies, but I have definitely let friendships suffer because of that. And so I am going to make a better effort to be there for other people as I used to. When I had more money, honey, I was there for everybody. It was very easy to do so. I had the bandwidth. So, be there despite that, be there no matter what. Be there when it's not easy. Be there when it's hard,
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much is a subscription now for something?
I think I just read some. I don't know if it was Hulu or HBO Max, but it was going up to like $19.99.
Okay.
For
For Hulu?
for premium.
Okay.
Or sorry, Hulu's going to be now Disney Plus. There's going to be no more Hulu.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I
so
think
it's
it is
all
already,
just gonna
right?
It's actually I did notice that I was on Disney. I was on Disney Plus, and I was like, oh, like you just because it's a subsidiary, it's connected. They have the tab now, and I thought, oh, like it's just easier access. But I guess they're doing that to kind of like soft launch, like no, everything that's over there. Well, this is the tab that this will be the tab, the Hulu tab. Oh wow, interesting.
Ian, is there any place where you find acts of kindness or things that make you think, oh, maybe it's all not all bad?
I mean, one of them was the marathon, that was like this beautiful moment that I felt very connected to a consciousness that wasn't just my own. I can be very like, I don't remember what I did in the last 2 or 3 days or last week, or someone's like, remember we talked about that? And I've been noticing, I'm like, no. And I think it's because I am, focused on like kind of what's in front of me, or like maybe just a little too far ahead, as Eckhart Tolle would say, like you're maybe a little anxious because you're pre-planning something hasn't happened yet, right? And so my mind is a little occupied, and like for the first time I was reminded kind of what you're saying, like, oh, like there's this beautiful thing about being human, and I have felt maybe a little like on top of that, why the reminder was kind of helpful and was a nice like push, was because I've been on like a bit of a dating, like trying to hang out with people and all of that, and kind of noticing how exhausting it is, because I feel like I'm very ready to like, if I like you, if I say I want to engage in this certain way, and then when you're not met with that, it's very exhausting, because I have to kind of jump through hoops to figure you out or whatever. And like, so,
Yeah.
COMM, communicate and community, and come on, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just a little tired. And so the marathon made me be like, kind of took me out of myself, and reminded me of like, oh, like this is what it can be about, And I think like media is always pushing like what's going wrong, and blah, 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 and it can feel so dreary because like there are some very, very big, heavy things happening. And even listening to you like both talk and the first 30 minutes of this conversation, like I felt myself getting like, I don't want to talk about this. I could feel my trigger of like, this isn't what I want to talk about. I want to talk about happy things. And it says a lot about me and how I choose to acknowledge certain things, and not, how much of it is like protection, but then how much of it is also just like the change what you're thinking about what you're trying to say, and then it will change how you feel. And so like sometimes I'm very protective about what I want to talk about, because I want to put out like happy-go-lucky things, you know what I mean? Anyway, that just to key you into how kind of in a bit of my like like woe I'm in, not a woe is me, but just like there is some like heaviness. Anyway, so all of that to say, like the marathon really kind of reminded me of what the human experience can really be about, And also a sunset, going outside, and like I think being around like nature and art remind me of things outside of myself. They remind me of how to communicate, how to think differently, how to because, perfect example, I was on the West Side Highway yesterday, and you know, it's with daylight savings and it's getting darker at like 5:30 now. But if you're lucky enough to be on the West Side Highway with a sort of work from home social media life, you can kind of create your own schedule. And so I was on the West Side Highway and I'm watching the sunset go down, and it's giving very before the sun sets on her 16 on the third day, excuse me, mixing up my villains. But like, you know, and then everyone was like stopping to take a picture or to like really like sit. And there's this sort of unspoken way that I felt like, oh, like, yeah, this is nice. Like a couple of us are doing this. Like we're all noticing how nice that people are noticing like nature. And then I went and saw a play called Oedipus right now. It's at Studio 54 with Mark Strong and Leslie Manville, and the cast is great. And I loved the theater experience. The play was fantastic. The art itself is not really have anything to do with what we're talking about right now, but the sitting and being in theater with others and receiving what the performers were giving us, you know, was something I was like, oh, I love this. And you could tell everybody was buzzing and talking about it. And so that's when I feel a little bit more connected to something outside of myself.
Yeah. I think you hit on something pretty good too, is that I talked a lot about, you know, what we're owed and how billionaires are taking from us and whatnot. That holds true. It is the truth. But I think what ultimately what I mean by this conversation is that the power is with the people. And the power is not just with the people when it comes to like getting out in the street and protesting or voting. The power is in the people when you get to sit at a restaurant and appreciate just how many people are out on a Tuesday night having dinner. And you don't know what's going on at the next table, but they could be getting proposed to. The table three people down for you might be getting a promotion. Two girls might just be getting together to gab and have wine. That is what we're all striving for. That is what we want, is that American dream that we've been promised. So to me, it's like, yeah, of course you acknowledge the bad, but you get out into the world and you take the pictures of the sunset with the group of people and have that gratitude of like, wow, we're all loving this beautiful thing that is free, you know, that is free. And I think that's the hope that I hold on to, at least, is to be able to experience people and to help people. Because I know when I was growing up and going to church, we would do clothing donations and, you know, and stuff like that. And just those little things that really help people out. And, you know, Christmas and holiday time wasn't about Black Friday, Amazon deals. It was about, you know, being with the people that you love and, yeah, opening gifts. But really, you were just excited to be around the table with these people. And that is what I'm hopeful for, is that we can come to a place where we see a lot of the noise as just that, as the TV in the background, and the people in front of us or the people on the subway next to us, we see them as equals, as people that we can work with to build, you know, a happy future, you know, instead of one that we've kind of been relegated to in the past couple years.
Is there a way that either of you are in your daily life right now being kinder to yourself?
Okay, let me think.
Me personally, I have been saying things out loud, like things that I'm grateful for out loud. Like when Philip does something, I like tell him, I love when you do that. That is so wonderful. And it's not necessarily something that he does to help me. It's just like something that he does that's very him. And I feel like I'm being good to myself when I do that, because I'm not having to question if people know how much I care about them, you know, because that's something that I like, you know, think to myself, like, am I, you know, and also eating better, I think has been really, really nice, because I feel just more energized. I'm sustained. I'm in a good mood. I realize how much food and like the lack of good nutrients put me in a bad mood.
We talked about this when I was in Austin with you. The best feeling in the world is when you take care of yourself. Remember I said that? Like there's just better. And Juan, we'll get to your thing, but like I go through a bit of a loop of my own with like, I'll just start backwards, but like Saturday is my favorite day. And I don't know why, but Saturday morning is very peaceful. I think it's because there's not too many people at all on the High Line at like 8 or 9. And so it's quiet. The neighborhood feels peaceful. and I weirdly feel like I feel weekday productive on Saturday, which is kind of odd. And then like I'll tend to emails and do things that should be done on like a weekday, like on Saturday. And then like I go out and I do my yoga or whatever. And as the week goes on, I falter with my productivity or like the confidence I feel at the care I've started to take, because you're like, oh, but well, maybe I just open Grinder and then you can kind of get sucked back into some of those bad habits or whatever. So a big thing like that you just reminded me is like, yes, always remember how good it feels to when you're taking care of yourself, because then your value doesn't depend on someone's reception of their reaction to you, or it's not outward. It's like, oh, I'm doing that all for me and that feels so good, and then you just want to share it and you're like, well, damn, okay, but if people texted me back, maybe we could share it together. So we're working on that. Juan, what about you? How are you being kind to yourself?
Oh, I think part of it is I'm leaning into the things that I need. Right. I'm just like being kind of a little bit more unapologetic. And I have always been somewhat unapologetic, but now I'm really, really doing it. Like, for example, I am no longer trying to carry on. Like I'm making an attempt to do it. I'm just not doing it. I'm checking bags. I'm just checking them. I'm checking them. And it's symbolic. I know it's superficial, but it's symbolic of what I'm doing for myself.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make my life easier for myself by accepting the things that make me happy.
Yeah.
And realizing like that's for me. That is something that I like to do.
Yes.
And so
Yeah.
it's okay. It's how I like to do it. And it's all right that I don't like to do it like anyone else.
Yeah.
Or like other people like another thing. And I just like this. I'm also, it's just about self-care. I'm trying to like not judge myself, or not be so critical of myself for wanting to, I don't know, like, I guess, like you want to look better and everything else. And it's not that I'm telling myself, oh, don't criticize myself. That's not really what I'm doing. I often would castigate myself for like, gosh, you shouldn't be so obsessed with this. Like, just move on, just accept it. Like, okay. And actually, I'm saying, you know what? This matters to me. I need to do this, this, and this so that I can be happy, and that's okay. Mm-hmm. It's a little bit more of self-acceptance. Like, I want to do this. I want to get my Botox. It makes me feel better. It doesn't matter that other people think that Botox and injectables are bad. I like them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That's okay.
And that's okay, yeah.
I know those are superficial, but it's about kindness and allowing me to be me.
Yeah.
But right now I'm completely unnatural. Nothing. It's not working at all. Because a lot of people like to get topped off throughout, and I do not.
Topped off throughout.
I like to let it, like so that they never, ever, ever are not paralyzed.
Oh, I see.
Botox-wise. They want to like 2 months. It takes 3 months for it to fade, but at 2 months they go and they have a little touch-up. You know what I mean?
I see. Yeah.
No. I want to empty the pitcher.
Right.
I want to drink all the water. I want to empty the pitcher and then fill it back up, because I want to make sure that that everything is working.
Great. I think we all have to stop being cops so much. I can definitely own that I have been a cop on more than one occasion. In terms of like, oh, do you really think you should do that? Do you think you should be doing that? I was watching an episode of The Billionaires, the Kardashians. It's so funny that I'm like dragging.
Oh, I love the gals.
Courtney was basically telling Chloe, she's like, well, you shouldn't let your kids have screens in the room, and they shouldn't have screens 1 hour before they go to bed because da 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 da. And I was just like, oh, that's so me. Like, I would do that, and like it coming from a good place, because she doesn't want the kids to have. She's like, I read a study that and Chloe's just like, okay, well, if you want to do that at your house, then do that at your house. Like, whatever. We'll wait to see when they grow up. And it's kind of like negative. And I was just like, yeah, we're all like, sometimes we mean well, but like sometimes we're just cops. Like, even people that are like, what are you spending your SNAP benefits on? Bitch, can you get out of my grocery bag, bitch? Is it going in your mouth?
It's
You know?
food.
Yeah.
But we're
It's
all like, do you
food.
live in this neighborhood vibes? Like, to so
Right.
many people.
Yeah.
Why do you do that? It's like, well, because maybe I like it. Maybe that's what I do. Maybe that's
Yeah.
me.
It makes me think of like, and we all three know this, but like growing up in like a Latin household,
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
specific. Well, yeah,
I'm
I mean, yes,
listening.
but like my mom's way of showing love was like being a cop. I'm using your term right now,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's not. It wasn't. It wasn't just like do it like this. Like why are you doing it like this? But her way is like it's her input makes her feel like she's part of the conversation. Her
Totally.
input makes her feel, and I've been noticing, you get older, and like when she came and visited me for the summer and my dad was here, like I loved what everything I'm about to say is because she helped me with the plans. She's like, you should, she actually taught me things because I didn't know the information, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I'm just one of those people
Mm.
who like, it's one of the things that my sister and I kind of get in fights over because I think she hears my mom do that and then she's either numb to it now, chosen to just be like, you know, hear it as what I'm doing is wrong, do it this way, rather than, oh,
Mm-hmm.
did you know? You know what I mean? Like, it's like, here's another way. And so, like, sometimes my mom has been a copper in a way that even I have to check, like, am I turning into her when I go to other people's houses? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I feel like I did that maybe when I went to your house, Johnny. Like I caught did I mean again, cop is like I know what you meant when in the context of like 3 sentences ago, but like it does force you to go, how much of what I'm saying is like actually helpful and oh like you know what I mean? I don't know, I'm just examining like
Yeah. No, I mean,
so
I think I think again, it depends on the delivery because there's certain things that you suggested while you were here that I wasn't like, how fucking dare she come into my home and tell me to
oh
maybe
yeah.
you were helping me, especially with like, cause I remember we were cooking and there was like a thing and it was like the pots and the pans and I was like,
Oh.
oh, that's so annoying. Like it was one of those things where I was like, please, someone give me
And I
a
did it.
fix for this, you know?
Yeah.
And so in those moments, it's fine. It's kind of like when you're like, it's if the delivery is like, oh, nowhere to put the shoes,
Yeah.
like,
Oh yeah, yeah.
oh girl,
Oh my
fuck
god.
off, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that I
Oh
feel
yeah,
a
yeah,
lot of
that's
people,
not
there's
good.
like a judgment behind. It's not like, oh, did you know that you can get a hook? Did you know you could get a hook and put this mop up here, like, and do the like that
Yes,
feels
bitch. I knew
helpful.
Yeah.
that.
That feels like community. Walking
Yeah.
into someone's house, oh, so
Oh, you're saying
the
that
mop
feels
just
helpful?
sits on the floor, you know,
Oh
like
yeah,
oh wait,
yes, I see what you
there
mean.
was one thing that Ian said that I was like, he's like he said he opened the and it
Oh
drove me
god.
crazy because like I also had the same thought. He opened the dryer and the washer open two separate ways. So when you're and it's a small little laundry room. So when you're in there, it's like,
Oh yeah.
where am I gonna stand to fucking do the clothes? So he goes, have you guys figured out have you guys figured out how to do this? And it made me laugh because like, yeah, no, girl, we haven't. But then when he left, I was like, I need to figure out how to do this. We need to figure out how to do this because like I kind of just like, you know, when you like something doesn't work and you're like, well, I guess that's just how it is. And I'm like, no,
Yeah.
I don't want it to be that way. So I found a way when it comes to this is so stupid, but emptying the washer, you have to open the door all the way because it opens all the way. And then you step into the room, take the clothes out and put them in the dryer. And then you back out of the room and then
Hmm.
close the washer. That's the only way that it works without being fucking annoying.
Yeah.
So
Oh my
Well,
god.
damn.
it was
So
just one of
funny.
those things that like when my mother was here, it was the same way. Like when we were doing the power washing, she's like, you know, you could do the fence too. I was like, do we need to do the fence? She's like, watch. And she did it. And I was like, thank God for your insight, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was just, it's all, when it comes from like a community forward way,
Yeah.
rather than like, hey, how fast you going on? You know, like if it comes out like a cop, it's different than if it comes out
Yeah.
motherly. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a it's a fine line. It's a very fine line between annoying and
cute for
unwelcome,
anybody,
and like, okay, that's helpful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do think I remember when I asked, it was because I was like, I haven't figured this. It was more of a, have you guys, can I get the
Yeah,
answer to
yeah.
this? Because right now this feels crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it was like, no, we haven't. If you can, please go have at
And
it.
you know, there's that thing that happens too. Like, why am I so quick to do those? Like when I made, I was like, I took your bread from like house left of kitchen and I put it on top of fridge, and then I like
Yeah.
boop 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 and whatever. And it was like, okay, like, can I Mary Poppins my own house, please? Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm clocking. I'm like, wow, like I be putting, I call it putting up with. I'm like, oh, like I should put a hook for that because every day I am wishing this was not so, but I never do
Yeah.
it. You know what I mean? I just don't know how to put
Well,
a hook up.
there's just like when you're staying at someone else's house, you just like make it so that you're comfortable with what you need while you're there. And so it's like, if it
so
were
it's
your
all about
space, you would do
me.
it this way. But then when you're in your own space, you're like, you kind of procrastinate in a way. You're like, I'll get that hook whenever and then you're out and then you're back home. You're like, I forgot the fucking hook. Like, you know.
Yeah, I do. I do.
I do.
And it's executive dysfunction that we're able to do it at other places and not at our own.
Mm-hmm. It's like giving dating advice to other people versus to yourself. You know?
I wish I could say I was getting better at that. I don't want to talk about dating stuff right now. But I was going to say, like, one thing, you know, it's so important, listeners. It's so, if I have one piece of advice today, get off your phone and hang out. Make that effort to see that friend. Make that effort to just share space. Hang with someone. I had Joey and John come over. These are, you don't need last names, but just friends that came over after they saw Chess. And we were just chatting, and like at one point I just was so happy they were with me, and like I just like I was just like, oh, like I thanks, because they were like, are we good, do you want to do anything, like we're pretty tired. I was like, no, I was like, just come over, like I literally just want you here. And it's lonely atop that tower, and they're here, and I had this moment where like,
let your hair down.
Exactly, you know what I mean? But it just there was something about how isolated I think we all are, and exhausted and tired, and so it's just easy to try to feel like you're getting connection from the phone. And I myself am really learning, like, wow, I am on this phone, I have been on this phone more than I care to really, like, I'm talking like wake up, broop, grab, and I am deluluing my way into, remember we talked about this last year about how the bad habit then propels me into the good one. Do you remember when we talked about this? I was like, I'm doing the opposite of Mel Robbins. No, Juan, remember? Because you were like,
oh, yes.
Remember? And like, so I've been doing that where like, maybe I'm not on it for fucking 15 minutes, but it's enough where I just go, Ian, like you shouldn't be on the phone when you first wake up. And then the shouldn't, the like sort of castigarme, like in the moment, gets me to like start doing the good thing, which is like get up and you do your bed, whatever. All this to say though, that even the walk I went on with my friend Sam on Sunday, and like just being with people, I was like, wow, it is crazy how it feels like they're your sponsors for just living. Like, even if you're not like an alcoholic, or if you're if you're not like an addict kind of that's been prescribed to you, there is this way that I clocked, oh my god, they felt like sponsors for just a nice good time to just hang. To feel that is kind of the space between like where I am always by myself and like how dire it feels to just be hanging out with people. That's crazy to me. I think that's why I had so much fun in Austin with you, because I was like, oh, I just feel like I'm part of something. I have friends. You know what I'm talking about? Like,
I mean,
feel very lonely in that sense here. Like, I don't know.
There's definitely something to be said about that. And I think I read something the other day that was like, bring back going to run errands with your friends.
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
And I was like, oh my God, that's so true. I remember like getting in the car and be like, we got to go to Target. You want to go to Target together? We'd go to Target and get the things that we need to get. And, you know,
oh my
New
God,
York
I used to do that.
Is maybe not the same, but New York is actually so much easier to do so many things with people, just randomly walk up and down the street and go different places.
Yes.
So it's like, even when I'm there with Ian and we're walking up and down the street, just chatting, like it is an activity. It is something to do. Yeah. And that's the thing. I think a lot of times people are rushing back to be on their phones, rushing back home to be on, you know, instead of spending the day with people. That's one of the things I love about Philip, is that he is with you. He's with me, you know? And so I think that I think being with people, seeing people be happy together. Like I saw this video, I posted it on my story of people dancing the Thriller dance in New York City
Oh,
for
yes.
Halloween. And it was like,
that was cute.
it's sweet. And those things, like everybody's like, I hate a flash mob. We were a better nation when we were doing flash mobs. I hate to say it. We were,
Glee
when we were
times. I was
doing
like,
flash mob
Glee.
proposals.
Yeah.
We were a happier people. And I feel
We've
like we
left
got to
the
get
flash
outside.
mobs and now we do gender reveals, and we need to go back. We need to
We're
switch.
still doing those?
Are they? Are we?
Gender reveals? I
Oh
mean,
my God,
they're still doing them all over.
You know, yes, we are having gender reveals. Those are ways to be in community that cost a lot of money and are really
And are horrible.
You know, bring back, like Ian said, going to see the runners at the marathon.
Yeah. Or just
Go grab a coffee. Sit in Central Park. Are people even doing that anymore? I know a lot of people are doing
Central
that,
Park?
but-
Oh, they're doing it.
Oh,
Just
for
fine,
sure.
honey.
But do more. Do more with people that you love and like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
people that you might want to love. I don't know.
Well, we love you, and
we do love you.
I hope that this week we get some good news any minute now, perhaps.
I love
And
good news.
we'll see you next time for and we're going. Yeah, I love good news. I love good news. And so next week we'll be back to basics, relationships, love, sex, advice, blowjobs, friendship,
right here on CNBC.
cheating, everything.
Everything. Oh my God, yes, and we can talk Lily Allen album, which I want to discuss because it's. Have you heard
Yes.
Have you heard it or no?
I have. It's funny.
It is crazy.
Yeah, that's actually really fun.
Pussy
Love you.
Thought it was a
Bye.
dojo crazy.
Qué rico.